Hi, Keith McCrone here from the Ultimate Track Day Experience. Coming to you with another educational video here. I just came out of a weekend at Mid-Ohio where we were talking about this subject. So if I watch a video, let's say an in-car video of somebody on a track, the first thing I notice, they have a hard time either getting to their braking point, the turn-in point, the apex, or the exit. So I want to talk about why that's the case, or the majority of the time that I find out why that's the case, or what we found out this weekend and what we discussed and what we talked about. But I want to talk about focus forward. So too often, everybody's looking too close to the front of their car. They might be looking out maybe 1 car length, 2 car length, when I would like to see somebody looking out maybe 20, 30 yards. And as you start to build more experience, you're going to find that you could probably look out maybe 40, 50 yards. And we're going to be talking about that in today's video and what harm it does for you when you're looking too close to the front of your car. Now, why does that happen? Well, if you've got an inexperienced driver, right, or you've got somebody that's at a new track. I mean, there's many a times that I've been at new tracks and I'm trying to get that focusing forward. I'm trying to look a little bit further out. Let's talk a little bit about what happens though when you start to, let's say focus right in front of your car and you don't focus forward. Well, what happens is it's very hard to hit all of your marks, whether it's going to be the braking mark, the turn-in mark, the apex, or the exit. Okay, so what happens is, let's just use this diagram here, for example. This is obviously Mid-Ohio. This is coming into turn 1. You got the carousel here, and then you've got the keyhole that takes you down on the back straightaway. And what I did is I put these dots on here, that these are reference points that in your mind, when you're focusing forward, these are the things that you're looking for. And no, there's not dots on the tracks, and sometimes there are cones there that's going to indicate these locations, but sometimes you might have to pick up a reference on the track and remember these things in your mind. Now remember, there's actually 4 things that we're going to be focusing on. There's the braking aspect, there's the turn-in aspect, the apex aspect, and also the exit, so the exit curbing. We're not putting shifting in there, which that's another category, but we're not going to do that right now for this example. But let's just say you're somebody that's actually coming in here into turn 1, and this is your braking application cone right here. This is your turn-in cone. This here would be your accel cone or your apex cone. And then this is your exit cone where you're getting some of the curbing on the exit. If you're somebody that's focusing right in front of your car, okay, I'm going to get to this braking point, you're looking, and now I got to get on the brakes. And as soon as you then start focusing for turn-in, you've already come up on turn-in, or there's a good chance you passed the turn-in. And if you pass this turn-in, you kind of blew this corner. There's no way you can make it to this apex. There's no way that you can make it to this exit. So again, let's do the same thing when we're coming into the carousel here. Let's say now we're coming into the carousel. We got our braking point. We got our turn-in point. We got our accel point, okay? Well, if I'm coming in here and I'm so focused on my braking point and I'm not focused on my turn-in point, what's going to happen is I'm going to get my braking point, but as soon as I start to go into my apex point, I'm going to be past my apex point. I might be right here. So now what's going to happen when I turn in, I can never get to the apex. I'm going to be over here now. And it kind of blows the whole next series of corners. So the goal here is to be able to be focusing forward, looking out further down the line of your car. It's a lot easier to see a braking point and then look away and start looking for the apex. If it's a blind corner, it's okay. It's going to show up once you get to the braking point or you start to crest the hill. But we're not going to be focusing on the braking point until we get there, and when we get there, then we're looking for the apex. Now, you'll become a little bit more experienced with this as you're driving a little bit more, and or if you're driving a new track, the more you drive a new track. Somebody asked me this past weekend, well, how do you focus forward like that when you're on a new track? I tell them the easiest way to do that is slow down. You need to slow down. Don't be looking at the stopwatch. The goal is to be picking up these reference points in your mind so that when you're coming into a corner, you see the braking point, you can look away, and it's almost like your peripheral vision is picking up that braking point. You're getting on the brakes, and now you're searching for the apex. If you think about the apex and what it should look like, you should now already be thinking about the exit curbing because that's where you know you're going to be going. It'll make it a lot easier for you to get around a track looking forward by you hitting your points. Thank you very much for joining me on this video here. And again, if you have any questions, you can get a hold of us at info@utde.racing. Thank you very much and talk to you next week.